Hello students, today we are going to continue about the list methods. Few methods which we discussed are append and extend. Now we are going to talk about one more list method called sort. When we make use of sort method, it tries to arrange the elements of a list in an order, that is from low to high. When I use the list with some values and apply a sort method, the order of the list will be arranged in an ascending order, that is from low to high. And if at all we want to go for descending order, then the sort method should be provided with an argument saying reverse is equal to true. So which means that you are telling the method to sort it in a reverse order since the reverse is true. Now when you print the elements, it will be in an order, that is in an ascending order. Most of the list method whatever we have discussed are void. Okay, they modify the list and they return none. The values returned are none. If you accidentally say that I write t is equal to t dot sort method. Okay, so you are making the changes, you are sorting it and assigning to the same variable. So you will be definitely disappointed to find out what is the result of it. Okay, so sorting is done, it's a method which is done to a variable and the variable here is a list. Okay, and we have one more operation that we perform on the list, that is deleting the elements. Now here there are many ways to delete the elements from list. So few are listed here. If at all we know the index of the element you want to delete, then you can use a instruction method called as pop. Here pop is used if at all the user knows the index of the element. Then you can remove that particular specific element. Okay, and here the removed values are used for other purpose since it is returning, or you can store that removed value. Okay, so consider this example. I have a list with A, B, C are the values, and if I want to remove the second element, that is B, so it is the index of the B is 1. What I use, I call t x is equal to t dot pop of 1. So pop of 1 is B will be popped off or removed from the t list. It is stored in the x. X contains the removed value. When you print t, it prints only a comma c because the popping of b is over. When you print x, okay, whatever the value which you have removed will be stored in the x variable. So pop, it is going to modify the list and return the elements that was removed. Say that if you don't provide an index, okay, uh, say here I have chosen 1, right? So if you don't provide an index, it deletes and returns the last element. Okay, so how it will be popped? If I don't give the index here, what it will do? It will delete the last element and returns the last element. Okay, so if you don't want to remove value, okay, that means whatever the removed value we have here, B, okay, if we don't want the removed value, then we can use delete operator. So this delete operator, it will delete the respective index value and it is not going to return with the removed value. Okay, so once it is deleted, it is done. Fine. So take an example. I have a list and I want to delete B. If I want to print the T variable, it is A comma C and the removed value will not be restored. Okay, so delete operator, you can also use it to remove more than one element by using the slice operator. You can mention from where to where you want to delete, from the first element to the fourth element. If you want to delete here, say that 1 2 3 4. Okay, so since it is n minus 1, so B, C, D, E are removed, A, F will be left out, and when you print T variable, A and F will be displayed. All other elements are removed, okay, or deleted. So delete operator is going to remove one element or more than one element without returning the removed value. This is one of the method. Okay, and if you know the element which is to be removed, we have one more operator, but here we don't know the index. Okay, you know the element what you want to remove, but I don't know where it is placed or what is the index of that element. Okay, so in that case we can go with one more method called as remove. What it does, it will remove the element which you want to delete, but since you don't know the index of that particular element, you can use this remove method or operation. I have a list here and I'm going to remove B from the list. When you print, it will display only A and C apart from B. So B will be removed from the list. What is the return value of the remove? It is none. Okay, it is not going to return the removed value or anything. Okay, so you can also go for removing more than one element. I think a del operator is best to remove the more than one element. As usual, you can see that there is a slice operator which selects the range. Within that values, the entire data or the elements of a list will be removed. Let us discuss about lists and functions. There are number of built-in functions that can be used on the list, which allows us to quickly look through the list without writing your own loops. Say for example, we have a list comprises of set of values. Now we have some built-in functions here. As an example, we have length, len, to find the maximum number, minimum number, sum of the numbers which is provided in the list, and also to calculate the average we can make use of the total over length. These are the built-in functions. Consider sum. It is the function, it works only when the list of elements are numbers. Okay, that means when your list comprises of only the numbers, you can perform summation. And the other functions like maximum, minimum, length, okay, this works even along with the list of strings, or even other types of values which is there in the list, but that should be in the form of comparable format. We could also rewrite the previous program, whatever we have discussed, that is the computing the average of list of numbers which is entered by the user using a list. This is the program to compute the average. Consider here I have used without list and function. Okay, we have initialized two variables. This is a while loop. Here we are asking the user to enter a number. The user will be kept on entering the number, and you have a condition. saying that if the input, whatever the user has entered, is equal to done. Okay, so break. So break is a command which is uh, stopping the acceptance of the values entered by the user. Now, if all the values are being considered or taken, then we are taking the floating value of the input. Okay, that means since we are computing the average, average would be not always a real number. Okay, so it could be in the form of floating. So we are taking the floating value of the input and compute the total. Total is equal to total plus the value, and count is equal to count plus 1. Now every time when the value is entered, it keeps on checking if the value is done, else it will take the input as a floating number and it will try to find out the sum of the values entered, and it will increment the count by 1. Every time when it's increment, the value will be varied and it is added to the total. Once your total is ready and the count is ready, we are trying to find the average of the values, that is total over count. The calculated average is printed finally. Now this is a format where we are finding or computing the average without a list. Now in this program we have count, we have total. So these variables are used to keep the number and the running total of whatever the user has entered, right? So we could simply try to remember each number as the user entered and use the built-in functions to compute the sum and count at the end. This is the program where we are computing the average by using the lists and the function. When we are operating using the list and function, we directly use the built-in functions. Say I have defined the variable with the list, and this list tries to accept the values entered by the user, and every time when the value is entered, it will be taken as a list of values. Okay, so when the loop starts while true, the user is entering the number, and if the value is done, then you are breaking the acceptance of values by the user. Once the values are taken, you are converting or you are accepting the value in terms of float. A float is a function which is converting your input value to a floating number. Finally, you are appending the values entered by the user in the num list. Num list is a variable which is in the form of a list which you have assigned to a list, and it is an empty list. Now the appended values will be there in the num list. Then you are going to calculate the average. Average is nothing but sum over length. So sum is a built-in function and length is a built-in function. So by default, sum of the values will be calculated and length of the values will be calculated, and finally the average will be stored in the variable average and you can display it. So this is how we are going to compute the average of a list of numbers using the built-in functions available in the Python. Let us talk about lists and strings. We all know that strings are a sequence of characters and list is a sequence of values, right? So here a list of characters is not seen as the list of string, which means a list can comprise of any values. Now whenever we want to convert uh, from a string to a list of characters, you can use list of a variable. Okay, that means take an example. S is a variable which is assigned with a string span. If I want to convert the string into a list of characters, then I can make use of this function list of s, then assign it to a variable t. When you print this variable, the result displayed would be the list of characters, because list is a name of a built-in function. Now sometimes you have to avoid using this name list as a variable name, because it is a built-in function. Now when you use this list function, this is going to break the string into individual letters. Okay, so if you want to break a string into words, then you can go utilization of usage of split function, where split function tries to break the string into individual words. Consider an example. Here we have s is equal to, it is a value which is considered to be the list of words, and if you want to break this string or the sentence into list of words, you can utilize a split function. When you use it on a variable, okay, the values will be split as words, not the letters. Okay, so when you print the variable which is assigned with the split of the string, see, keep in mind, whenever you're using any method or function, okay, you're supposed to use it along with the variable name with dot notation. Now print this variable, you could see the result as list of words. The list function breaks a string into individual letters. If you want to break a string into words, then we can use split method. So split method is with an optional argument, you call it as a delimiter. When in the example here, okay, let me explain the example. uh, the specification of a delimiter is to fix up the starting and ending boundary of the word. So basically the purpose of delimiter, it specifies which characters to use as a word boundaries, because the programmer or the processor should know which is the starting point of the word and ending point of the word. Okay, so in order to have a differentiation, we can make use of a delimiters after each word. Now when I assign the delimiter with the special character, okay, then those special characters would identify that is a delimiter, okay, and it is going to cut the word till then. That means the word spam, and it is going to, when once it reaches the next character is a delimiter, okay, so this delimiter is not belonging of the word, so it is going to stop or cut that particular delimiter and take the next character as the next word. Okay, so similarly delimiters are used to fix the boundaries for the string. So you can take this also example. See, if you want to split the string, you can use delimiter. And in case if we want to perform the inverse of the split operation, we can make use of join method, where it is using the delimiter, the separate words of the list which we have mentioned will be joined by using the delimiter. Okay, so you can have the look, You can have a look at the results. Okay, so it is going to join those words using the delimiter. So basically these are all some of the ways that list can be operated, or the string functions can be manipulated. Next, let us talk about parsing lines. Usually when we are reading a file, definitely we want to do something for those lines other than just printing the entire line, right? Say that you find some interesting lines, and you are parsing the line to find some interesting part of the line. Okay, so say for example here I have a line that is print out the day of the week from those lines that starts with from in the following line. So I want to print the day of the week. Okay, say for example Saturday, I want to print only Saturday. Okay, then from where it is going to print? From this particular line which is starting with the string from. Okay, so for which I am writing a simple program. So consider f hand is equal to, you are opening the text file and you are searching for, you're starting initializing a loop for line in f hand. Line is equal to line strip. So you are eliminating all those white spaces at the end. Next you are checking if not line dot starts with from, then it will continue with the next line. If it is line is starting with from, then words is equal to line dot split. You are going to split the entire word. Okay, so once it is split, okay, what you are going to do? Print words of 2. That means from where you are printing, you are going to print words of 2. So that means the from is one word, then Stephen dot Mecker at this entire thing is, so it is taking as a, this is first and this is the second word because there is no space here, and there is a space here, so you could see this is the third, second, and this is the third. Okay, fourth, like that it is going to consider. And I am interested only in printing the second word of the list, okay, which after the splitting. So that is nothing but the day of a week. So it will print the Saturday. Similarly, it goes for the next line and it prints the day of the specific line. Okay. So basically, when we are using the split method, okay, it is definitely a very effective case or effective method when faced with this kind of problem. We can also write a small program for a file to find a specific word in a given line. Okay, and I think this is one of the good example where we are trying to find out or get a uh, specific word from the given line. Okay, so parsing the lines is one of the best method. Here I think we can also use the contracted form of the if statement. So when we put that continue on the same line as if, okay, so basically this is the contracted form of if function. Okay, so like I am using the continue along with my if. Okay, so these were the next line, which is if I try to use continue, if the condition is not, if the condition is satisfied here, okay, that means it is not starting with the word from, correct, then it will immediately goes for the statement that is continue. And this if the continue were on the next line and indented, probably that was not considered to be the contracted form. Here you consider this if and continue is displayed here in the contracted form. Okay, and the outputs are also shown like this. So parsing the lines is splitting or slicing the line and obtaining the specific data from the given line.